Hello, everyone. Welcome to Switchcraft, the Fingerboard podcast. My name is Jana, and this time I have a guest from not that many countries away, but a few countries away. This time I'm sitting here over the internet with Losh from Flint.
Hello, what's up, guys?
So I think a lot of people know about Flint, but probably not that many people know how it came to be or what the deal is with Flint. Because I feel like Flint is one of those companies where everyone talks about and everyone wants to have a deck of, but not a lot of people get a chance to get a deck. And also, they look so different than anything else than that they stand alone quite well. So let's do a short history of Flint. So when did you start Flint and how did it come to be?
Flint started, I think, 2015 or 16. I'm not quite sure, but I think it is more or less because back in the day it used to be some kind of a hobby project or something like that that came out to be my main job. Um, but yeah, it started, I think, 2016. Yeah.
And before that, you were making decks as a hobby, but not like as a real company, or
No, no. I used to make decks with a friend of mine called Maserra. We used to make decks. I don't know, back in 2005, I think 2004. Actually, I met Timo Kans in a Aziz in a Titus Berlin in 2005, I think, and I had with myself a deck made by me and Maserra. It was a company called Loma.
never heard
That's
of it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, 100% not because I never sold any, but we made some stickers. But it was funny, a funny brand. And then we just realized that we didn't want to make decks, and we just end up with our, I don't know, studies, and we didn't continue with the brand. Then appears another brands like Yellowwood and Lopro in Portugal, and we were more into those brands.
And what was the reason that you decided to start making decks again in
Yeah,
2016?
it's somehow I always felt the need of bringing a bit of the design aspect to the fingerboard, to something that I do every day. Um, because I felt there was nothing was being made in a quality that I think it should have. So
Mhm.
I applied a bit of my knowledge of graphic design and packaging design, and I started to make like a crazy idea of bringing on different kinds of crazy ideas, like making a good packaging, inviting artists, putting wine in the middle place, and started making this concept about Flint. Um, yeah, and that was it. That's how I felt that it was uh, needed, something like that in the
Yeah,
fingerboarding community.
it's definitely something that I think still hasn't been done since, because I also come from a graphic design background, and I
I didn't know.
really appreciate that you like you can really see that you put a lot of effort into every whole product that you do, and you don't look at it, or that's how I interpreted it. You don't
Thank
look
you.
at it nearly as a fingerboard. You interpret it as a like whole package with the packaging, the posters, the artist, and yeah.
Yeah, I wanted always that the having a deck shouldn't be open a plastic bag. Having a deck should be a whole experience of unboxing. Uh, and that was the first thing that it came to my mind when making Flint was I want something that people open up and say, "Wow!" and say, "Oh my god, nice!" Even before looking at the deck, they are already experiencing the the deck himself without touching it.
Yeah, I think it's the only packaging of fingerboard things that I kept.
Thank you.
Um, yes, let's talk about the series because I think that's what makes Flint unique.
Mhm,
Um, so you have different kinds of series. Let's start with I think the most known, the artist series first.
mhm.
Was that the first Flint you ever did, or did you start with a different series?
No, so at the beginning of Flint, the main idea was to have only artist series. So
Mm-hmm.
it was just 30 decks, and it was invited artists. The first one was a friend of mine from Milan called Marta, and
Yeah.
she made some drawings for me, and I was like, yeah. So next one is going to be another friend, and then I'm going to put another friend. Uh, and it was more like supporting the artists to have their work exposed, and having a cool product with it. And I always give the 2 decks to the artists for as a memo,
Mm.
and yeah, that was the idea of the artist series. It was only to make artist series, inviting artists.
And how many artist series have you made so far? Do you roughly
That's
know
an
that?
actually good question. Let me look. I actually don't know. I know there's 2 per color.
I
Um,
think I actually know the answer.
really? Tell me.
It should be 11 and two per
It's
series,
two.
so
It's two.
22.
It's yeah. It's 2 per series.
So I think 22.
Damn, it's already a lot.
Yeah, it's already a lot.
It's
Um,
yeah,
uh,
yeah.
do you have a favorite out of the artist series? I know it's probably a tough
It's a
question, but
tough question. Yeah, it's strange because every time I release a deck collection, I always say, yeah, these are one of my favorites. These are one of my favorite. I always say that. It's
mm,
ridiculous. Um, but I can tell you, first of all, uh, in the artist series, there in my concept of idea, you should have the artist himself to draw whatever the fuck they want, so they
hmm
can draw whatever they want. I just give them some guidelines as to please, not please. You can do whatever you want, but Flint inspiration is about sea, piracy, tattoos, beaches, women, and I don't know. It's more like I want to be the piracy team.
hmm
So I always give this hint, or fishermen, or something like that. I always give this hint, and then they do whatever they want. This is the the base concept. Um, so after it, people can draw whatever they want, but of course there are some that you consider a fish and women and I don't know, islands and
mm
tattoos. But actually, some of my favorites are the most minimal ones. Um, I really I love them all, as I always say,
mm
but these the Lorenzo ones are definitely some of my appealing uh,
Yeah,
design ones.
they are really distinguished between the other illustrations because the other ones are more illustration style, and that one is like what would consider a very graphic designy thing.
Exactly, exactly. That's probably why why I enjoyed so much. That's
Uh,
probably.
have you kept one of each
Yeah, 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 yeah,
other
yeah.
series?
I have every single one of them. I still miss some on my wall, especially the last ones. But I have all framed in my wall. Yeah.
Nice. Um, do you know if there's any person other than you that has pretty much one of, let's say, all the artist series? Because I know there
Yeah, I know
are a
there's
lot of
I know
huge
there are
Flint connectors.
I know there are some collectors, hardcore collectors. I don't know, but probably I know that Ryan Hall from New Zealand
Enjoy, yeah, enjoy
enjoy
finger.
fingerboarding. He has like a huge collection. I know that,
Yeah,
but
yeah. I
there
think he Helmpflicht. I think it's Helmpflicht. Yeah, no, no one
Si-
like someone from the German scene.
it's Simon Marquardt.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
He
Volbart. I think it's
Volbart. Yeah,
Volbart.
I always mix them two up. Yeah. Um. Yeah. So
I think
yeah,
he has a Rolla big collection too.
yeah. I
Uh,
think those two are probably the ones.
yeah, for sure. And an American guy called Kevin Bird, or Beard or something. I think he has a big collection too. Yeah,
Do
there's
you
some big
prefer
collectors.
do you prefer people collecting your boards, or do you prefer if they ride the boards?
I always prefer people riding their boards, of course, but I totally understand that they become somehow of a collectible. Um, I can understand that because even if I bought one of my decks, I could understand that I didn't raw them and put it on the
Mm,
wall. As the whole experience thing, as I told you before,
yeah.
I think the collectibles can somehow like a preservation of that enthusiasm that you had
Mm,
for as an experience.
yeah.
And I can understand that, of course. Sometimes it's difficult because people sometimes want four decks because they want to put two on the wall and two for riding, or
Mm,
two on the wall and one for riding, and it's fucked because there are other people that just want the decks to ride, and that's it. And
mm.
it's so difficult for me to control that. It's really hard, and I don't, even the site is always breaking down, and I'm still figuring out a way to make it better. Uh,
Yeah,
it's difficult.
you recently started to do random times when you dropped the series, right?
Yeah, yeah, I can. Yeah, it's been a difficult thing for me to Flint. When I make releases, I'm always like my heart is pumping like 300,000 miles per hour. It's ridiculous because I know that the site is going to crash. I know that.
Mm.
Um, I know that I made some upgrades to it, but it still crash. And I know that I
Ca-
will have people complaining, and I know that people are going to be disappointing, and I don't want that to anyone.
Mm.
So I don't want no one to be disappointed with Flint. That's my main
Yeah.
concern. I always try to answer to everyone. I always try to, I don't know, to make the experience of opening it and communicate it with me the best as possible, because I'm an open person and everyone can talk to me. Um, and when someone complains, I always stress a lot. I always because I don't want people to be sad. You know,
Yeah.
I'm sorry for everyone. I would love to make 1,000 decks, but it's not possible. It's just is not possible. I would like to everyone to have one. I don't want to be like well, a limited, ultra limited edition. I want everyone to have it, especially for the logo series.
Mm.
Um, I don't want to logo series to be that limited. I don't think that's
Mm.
how it should be. It should be.
Yeah, I have one of the logo series, and that's one of the decks that I'm never changing because I have way too many setups, and
I know what another feeling.
I switch them out constantly, and I have like a few setups that I never touch. Like they have the perfect combination of trucks, bushings, wheels, deck,
Mhm.
and the Flint is one of them.
Cool.
Yeah, it's pretty much the I call it the Julian Borner special, like the with dynamics uh, and J wheels,
J wheels.
the J fours,
Mhm.
and yeah, it's pretty much a perfect setup. Do you
Yes.
have a preferred way to set up your Flint? Like, what do you write?
Yeah, so I tried 34s as trucks. I never tried, actually, I never tried the Black River 34s. I tried the Dynamic 34s. Um, and they are a bit, I don't know, though it's too oversized for me. So I prefer 32. Um, right now I'm riding 32 trucks of uh, Black River with the gold base plate.
Mhm.
That's still my main to go. Oaks, medium, these are death shit. Really, these are ridiculously good. Um, no wobbling, no nothing, just smooth as hell. Um, and then I ride. Right now, I'm riding soft bushings um, from Sheon, from Spain.
Yeah.
Um,
I didn't know that they were from Spain.
yeah. It's Sheon from Spain. I don't know where he's from. But it's a really cool guy. He sent me some and sent me some vinyls too from Flint. It's a really good, really cool dude. And I'm just trying the bushings because actually I never had like other bushings than the original ones.
Okay,
Oh
I
no,
have.
no, wait! I had some wishcraft. I tried once with some guy from the US. I don't know the name, and he made.
There's like a joke going around that every time I release a new episode, someone says, "Oh, the bushings are back." Yeah.
But you ride which bushings?
No, no, I don't.
Oh, okay,
I actually didn't know that they existed before when I named the podcast. But yeah,
okay,
there's only so many fingerboard puns to go around to make companies.
okay. Yeah.
Um,
Bracelet companies.
yeah. uh, so speaking of the name, how did you come up with the name Flint, or why is it called Flint? Is there a story behind it, or was it just?
It's a simple story. I was I was trying to get a name for the company, and sometimes you think too much, and you don't get anywhere. And I was just in the car with with a friend, and the first idea that he came to his mind is Michael Ribeiro, is in the Flint team. He draw the second graphic from Flint, uh, and he was
Mhm.
like, "Man, uh, how about Flintlock?" And I was like, "Flintlock, that sounds cool." So the first idea for the Flint was not Flint, was Flintlock. Flintlock are the pistols
Mhm.
that use the stone to make the sparkle, and
Yeah,
that
pretty much
spark
the classic Western
it
movie pistol, or
yeah, it's not.
yeah.
I think it's not Western. It's more like 18th century or 19th century. It's more like
Ah, okay.
the pirates ones, the ones that are
Ah, okay. Yeah,
almost straight. The and
yeah. No.
they have like a gunpowder part, and then the flint releases a sparkle, and the sparkle releases makes the explosion. And
Mhm.
I loved when I heard like, oh my god, then Flint is the stone that makes the sparkle and makes an explosion. And I thought it was a great idea and for the name, and it's catchy, and it's the stone that makes a sparkle, that makes an explosion. There was something new to the world of fingerboarding. Uh, and I thought it was sick. I thought the name was sick. So I immediately started drawing the logo. Millions and millions of ideas. I think I took 2 years to make the brand.
Oh,
Oh,
crazy.
yeah, it was almost 2 years. Of course, I had a job as a graphic designer, so um, I didn't have that much time. But I was doing in my part time. I was doing the logo and the idea for the packaging and the concept and blah blah blah. I had a mold before, but I wanted more than the mold. I wanted the brand.
Mm. Yeah, and I think that's something that a lot of companies miss. They have a mold, they slap a logo on there, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, yeah. It was like that until I made Flint. It was ridiculously like that. It was so many brands that was just stamping a logo, making blanks, and that's it, and putting some handwriting stuff,
Mm.
and that was it. So but I'm actually enjoying a lot. I don't complain. I don't think that people are copying or whatever. I don't care about the stuff. Um, I love to see people getting bigger and better, and in their artistic vision of of fingerboarding, and making their companies a bit better. Taking good care about the graphics, taking good care about the image, the pictures, the way they present them. I'm enjoying a lot seeing every day different companies that are just a bit, and old companies that are making better and better of themselves. They are,
Mm.
there's not no fucks given. It's really concerning about the product. I really enjoy that.
Nice. Um, let's talk about the packaging for a bit.
Mhm.
Um, is it correct that pretty much every packaging is different that you do?
So the first ones were made of cork. It was almost a square uh, cork box with a bottom and top part that
Hmm.
closed with a piece of paper. Um, yeah, so that packaging was the first one. It was, I don't know, until the blue ones. I think it still existed. Yeah, I think the blue was the last one. Then I switched up the packaging and made it a bit longer, uh, because I felt it was in need a bit like a renew image for the packaging. I believe that I grow up as a designer too, and
Mm.
I thought that the old packaging was getting a bit outdated for myself. My aesthetics were getting better, so I look at the packaging and I thought I can do better than this. So let me redo, and I remade everything for a more square and more tall. As now, and you have a sleeve now, and
Mm.
those are the artist series. So we have two for the artist series made of cork. And for the logo series, I had different ones because it was slightly on the right cut because of the packaging, the first packaging. But then again, I changed because I didn't like that much. And but I still had a lot of boxes, so a lot of the corks were slightly to the right. I think I still have some. And then I have made some old school cut,
Mhm.
but I actually, yeah. So I they made, and then I asked for more normal ones with a normal shape, but the guy got it wrong, and he made me more old schools. So now I have a lot of old schools, and even now the purple ones that I released last week,
Mhm.
they are going to be packed with the old schools too, because because now I have a lot. I,
Yeah,
it's not
because
that much
I
of a difference, but yeah, it's the tiny difference.
yeah, because I've seen a lot of your packagings, especially for example at Julian's place,
Mhm.
and
Oh, you have
there
a
I
lot.
yeah, and there I realized that pretty much a lot of them have different dimensions, and I thought you would take like one cork template and just
That's
wrap it in a
it's
different
it's supposedly
smooth.
like that, but the company where I make the packages is actually from my ex. It's the company from my ex boss or something like that. Yeah. So I have a good communication with him, but he had some bad luck in his factory. So, for instance, I don't have right now the cut for the cork from the artist
Mhm.
series because the factory burned the last year. So
Oh,
he missed all the cork, and all the cuts are gone.
oh
So
shit.
yeah, so I have to have them made again. So probably the cork is going to be different. The finish is going to be different, and it's always different persons that are doing it. And
Mhm.
even the consistency of the cork, I want always to be the same. It's more or less the same, but it's not exactly the same. And it sometimes it has errors on the end product, of course. But supposedly
Yeah.
it's more or less the same, more or less. I hope.
um,
If it's bad made, I don't send. That's for sure.
yeah, yeah. That's something I seen you do like with various people, like making sure that they have like exactly the right thing and
Hmm.
that it's 100% perfect.
Yeah.
Um, One thing that I also really enjoy, especially I think it's only in the artist series, the posters that you include with it. Uh, is
Yeah.
that also something that you done from the beginning,
Yeah.
or is it like a recent thing?
Always from the beginning, it was the idea. Actually,
Because it,
I can tell you the first idea ever. It was from my girlfriend. She wanted to make a screen print uh, scarf or something with a artist series. Can you imagine like a tissue with the size
mhm,
of the
yeah,
poster? But it was so expensive. It was ridiculously expensive, and I couldn't make. But that was the
right,
first idea actually. But yeah, it was always in my mind to make numbered with a poster with that card, making a history of Flint, and two stickers. The two stickers were the hands, and
mhm,
I just send those stickers to the people who buy the artist series. So the stickers with the hand are, I think it's something special for the people who buys the artist series. Yeah,
mhm,
and I know there's a collectible too. I know there's some people who collects them.
yeah. Let's talk about the different series for a bit.
Mhm.
My first question uh, regarding the shape of the actual boards. Do you have different molds for the different series, or do you use do you have one mold?
Of Yeah, the mold or the shape you're talking about,
Um,
the cutting of the
let's say both. Let's say both.
Okay, so the first, let me see. Okay, I think the first two are from a mold that I made from NFB. Uh, but then I drew my own mold on the third one.
And the
So
third artist series, or
the third artist
yeah.
series, I think yes, is the third. It was already my mold that I made. So I draw it on. I know how to work on SolidWorks, a program,
Mhm,
3D program,
yeah.
and I have a friend too that has a factory for CNC machining.
Ah,
Uh,
that's handy.
It's really, yeah, it's so good. I have the perfect connections, and I had, of course, I paid a lot, but
Yeah,
still, it was a special price.
yeah.
So I have them made. I have one, and then after that, the third one, every single one of them is equal. The molds. So
Ah,
I
nice.
have now 5 or 6 molds, but they are all the same shape.
Ah, cool.
Um, I,
Because
I
I wasn't sure if artist series and logo series and photo series have different molds or.
No, it's the same. It's the same. The thing is, the the thickness it varies depending of the woods that I buy.
Hmm?
But I buy always like big stacks of maple, and sometimes they are thicker. I don't know why the hell. It pisses me off a lot. I complain a lot with them, but because I have different thickness, they are like these last ones were a bit thicker than I wanted to. Um, but the guys were like, "Hey, we cannot control and blah 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 because we buy it like this." Um, but it's really hard deck. It's really hard deck, but it's not the thin that I like to see. You know.
Hmm.
But yeah, so the shape of the deck, the shape, no, the cut of the deck, that varies a long time. So the first and the second were the first ones that I made, and then it just changed a lot. Uh, for my eyes, of course. Maybe for the normal people's eyes, they don't notice. I notice a lot. And these last two were, I think, these last two, I think. Yes, these last two were a new mold, a new cut that I made. So they are a bit different. And all the
Okay.
logo series from the last ones are all different a bit. I'm changing all
Um,
the time. I make 3D. I make 3D prints,
mm,
and then I test the templates of the cutting templates, and then I have them
oh,
made in CNC in aluminium.
uh,
But first, I always
oh,
test them. And
yes.
in the photo series are shorties, so they are 96. So it's a different cut too.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
Do you remember when you started doing a second series besides the artist series, and which one that was?
yeah. That was the logo series for the red and the green one. I did it because I knew already some people couldn't get the other ones, so I wanted always to have. Not always. In the beginning, I didn't want that. Of course, it was just an hobby and blah blah blah. But then after that, I want everyone to have a Flint, and
Mm,
but then the limited edition ruins a bit that concept. So I did. I think I did the opposite of usually what people do. People usually do normal series and then they do limited edition. So I did the
mm.
opposite. So I started with a limited edition, then I did uh, all people series. But the
And how
problem,
many do?
the,
Yeah, sorry.
yeah, tell me.
How many do you do for the limited edition ones?
It's 2020 of each, so it's 40 decks total.
Oh, that's not a lot.
Yeah, it's not a lot. In the beginning, it was 30, it was 15, 15. Then I changed it. I don't know when, but then I changed it. I think it was on the blue ones that I changed. Yeah, the blue
Yeah,
one was already 20.
but sorry, I interrupted you.
Don't worry. I don't even know what I was talking about. Um, that I was talking about.
Yeah, that you started with a limited series and
Yeah,
then
and then to
added
transfer
an unlimited.
to the logo ones. Yeah,
Oh,
it was a bit the opposite what people usually do, but I really wanted to have a normal series so people can, yeah, I want the deck, so they can just go to the site, click, and have it. But I, it ended up being a successful case, and it was sold out constantly. So I didn't have a way of managing that. So actually, the logo series ended up being limited editions too. I didn't want that, but it's complicated.
uh, yeah, I think
Whatever I put, I usually sell out really fast. I cannot have the hands to make. I have a tendinitis already in my arm for making
uh,
decks, uh, and I have to take it a bit slower. But
mm,
I cannot make like 200 decks or 100 decks. That's completely impossible by the standards that I want to put on each deck. Uh, if I don't want to mass production it, I want them to be made by myself. Um,
mm.
of course, if I had the technology or if I had the way of making them exactly like I do them by hand, I will try to use that. But there's still not an option like that. I tried.
Until then, you have to use your hands.
Yeah, I tried already to teach some people to see if they can help me at least in the first steps. But I have this thing about always thinking that it's not perfect as I want. So I usually end up taking more time correcting what it's wrong than making it
Mm.
by myself since the beginning.
And when did you, or what was the idea behind the photo series? Because the photo series looks like completely different from the other ones. The other ones are screen printed. Am I right about that?
Exactly, they are all screen printed, and
And
these
and the
are
photo series?
UV printing, UV print.
Ah,
So this is a technique that it's printing with white. So it was a friend of mine who told me about this technique. That you can actually have the colors pop out really good, and I was like, yeah, this looks awesome from the first test that I made, and immediately I started. I want to make this as an addition too. Um, so before back in the first ones, I used to screen print in white, and then on top of it, I would UV print it. But now the
Hmm.
UV is so advanced that I don't need to. I don't even need to make the screen printing before.
Is that why you changed the layout of the last photo series? Because the previous ones all had the white on top and bottom, and the last
Uh,
series has like full covers images.
Actually, no. It was just a way of choosing it as I wanted. Um, and this way, actually, the photo series usually were made with the deck itself with white bottom, pressed
Hmm.
and finished, and then I arrive to the store and the guy prints me on the middle. See, so it
Hmm.
prints all in white, and in the middle he prints me that picture.
Yeah.
I decided to make with this full. You cannot do that because the nose and the tail will be not perfectly. Um, the definition won't be that good because it sprays a lot. It's a spray of ink, so it doesn't work.
Hmm.
So I had them made on the piece of wood, of plywood, and then I cut it, and then I do it before going to the mold again, like I usually
Ah,
do.
so usually you would first press the decks completely, then print them,
That's
and now
exactly now before.
okay. Ah,
S- all
I
all the decks are made before. All the screen prints are made before going to the mold.
okay. Um,
It's
and
a lot of error can happen.
yeah, I can imagine. Uh, what was your idea to start the photo series as well? Because the photo
Oh,
series looks so different from
yeah, yeah.
everything else you do.
The photo series was actually something that I made by accident. Talking with this friend that I was talking to you about. So it was telling me, you need to try this kind of print. You need to try this kind of print, and I was like, oh, okay, so let's do it. And when we do it for the first time, it was actually the first photo series are made of the bottom plane walnut, um, and I made it, and I thought it was so sick, and I was like, I need to make a graphic with this, and I wanted to introduce photos after I saw that work. I thought it
Hmm?
would be sick to introduce this into the graphics, and so I start to imagine a way of putting it, and why not doing as an artist series too, but non-limited, of course. It will be just an artist with pictures. So the first two ones are one picture from Irish and one from myself. Um, and the other ones I started making like invitational, like I did with the
Mm.
artist series. So it's Manu, André Trejinha, and Leon Eckert. The idea was
Uh,
just actually it was not thought as uh, completely well thought of a process. It was actually by mistake, not by mistake, but some friend telling me to see how my graphic would look like if I tried this technique with UV printing.
mm.
Then it was a revelation.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Um, do you have, or how do you go about choosing artists for the other series? Do you have people you want to work with, or are you now at the point where you so big with Flint that people come to you with ideas or?
Um, I have almost all of them are friends because I know a lot of people from the arts world, and but I think all the I think the only one that I didn't knew was a friend from Castella. That it's the Gracie Young. It's the ones that are pink. It was an
Hmm?
illustrator from USA, and I didn't know her. It was a friend of Costello, and he told me, "Yeah, man, the board will look sick if you invite this person." Blah blah blah. and I invited her, and she was more than happy to participate. It was so cool. Um, but yeah, she's the only one that I don't know. The other ones are like the Tiago, like Pedro Barros is a friend from fingerboard world that I met from my hometown. He has a board company called Iguanadex.
Ah, yeah.
Uh, then I had Tiago Olivares, my tattooer, the guy who makes me my tattoos, really cool dude, skateboarder from Porto. John Coward, of course, everybody knows him.
Mm.
Then I have Andre Teixeira, he's another friend who makes tattoos too. Yeah, I have some tattoos from him too. Then you have Miguel Ruiz, he's like my neighbor and one of my best friends. Then you have Gracie Zhang, that's the person that I didn't know, but she ended up being really cool to work with. Then you have Ricardo Teixeira, he's one of my great friends from here from Porto too. Uh, Lorenzo Feliciani, a really cool dude from Italy. He used to be here at Patio constantly, so we end up meeting here. And I knew he was a graphic designer. I follow his work in Behance, and I loved his aesthetics.
Mm.
And then Raquel Relvas, she's the sister of one of my best friends. So
Ah,
as you can see, um, almost all of them are people that I know in this area. Um, I want for sure to work with people that I start enjoying their work and invite them. But
mm.
usually people ask a lot of money, and I'm totally honest. Is like people ask me a lot of money, and I just don't have uh, that money for two illustrations.
Yeah.
It's a bit hard, but that's one of the things that I want to do. Like the last ones, even with Raquel Revels and some others, I want to pay them. Of course, if they pay, if the payment is okay with all, uh, I can pay them for sure, 100%. I want to start supporting artists. That's why
Mm.
actually that's one of the reasons why I increased a bit the price of the Raquel Relvers, the last ones. Uh,
Okay, didn't know that you increased the price.
yeah. I increased the price. I don't know from when. From yeah, well now it's 60, but now I want to pay the artist, so I want to
Mm.
do more of a win-win situation for the artist, and I keep with my line of artist series. At, at least that's what I think.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Portugal fingerboard scene for a bit because I've
You know how it
only, yeah, I've only been to Padeo once, but I have to say it was probably my favorite event ever, and I've
really
been to
shit
quite a few.
sick,
Yeah, because it felt like back in the day, like it was small, but
small, tiny.
everyone who was there was someone like that's deeply embedded in the scene. Like,
Yeah, totally.
didn't matter if you knew that person or knew of that person, but you knew that everyone who
Hmm.
was there for, let's say, the right reasons.
Hmm.
And yeah, it felt like a family thing. And even though I didn't know half of them or couldn't pronounce most of the people names,
Of course.
it still was like a ton of fun.
Ah, so cool.
Um,
Enjoyed. Really.
um, and it's something that I think is very special and only I think happens in quite a few scenes in fingerboarding, that you have like a distinct Portugal or Porto scene. Do you feel that way as well? That you have like that the Portugal or Porto scene specifically are different than other scenes?
So talking about the Porto or Portuguese scene, you have to go back a bit in time. Not as the German scene, of course, but
Mm.
we end up looking at you probably as you are talking about us right now. So I started fingerboard in 2001,
Yeah, same as
um,
me.
and I always fingerboarded Macera, that friend of mine. He was from my class
Mm.
until we were at, I don't know, 2005. That's or 2004 or five when we realized there was a German scene. We saw Pissing Fingers, the video, and that changed my fingerboard life.
Yeah, I think
And
it changed a
that's
lot of people's
for
lives
sure. I'm
back
I'm
then.
I'm 100% sure. Um,
I still watch it
me too.
regularly.
Me too. Me especially to show to people. See, this is the video changed my life.
Yeah. I
um,
think I had it as VHS back then, but
oh
I could be
shit.
wrong.
That's
But I think the first one wasn't VHS. The second one was definitely DVD.
yeah. That was
But
the
I've yeah,
the
I'm
first
not
one. I don't know.
100%.
Me neither. Me neither. But I actually saw that video. It was on Google Video. Can you imagine? It was not even in YouTube. So that's the first thing that we realized there was a big scene out there that we wanted to make be part of. So things that get a bit developed here in Portugal. We had a forum and we start making a first. I think the first meeting was in 2007. I'm not quite sure. Coral is the best guy to talk about this. He knows everything. Um, and in 2007, it was made the first meeting in Portugal with I don't know 5 6 people, but it was so special. I wasn't there actually, but it was so special that they end up making another one. And in that one, I was with Macer in that event, and it was one of the best events I ever was because it was the first time that I saw there was a Portuguese thing about mini skateboards. Um,
Mm.
and then there we meet Coral and Gilles, and I think these are the two ones that are still doing it right now. I think the other ones, I think Guy was there too.
Ah,
Guy, I think Guy was there, and I think Castel didn't exist. No, Castel wasn't there. Um, so yeah, that's was the first time that the Portuguese scene got connected. But we actually, me and Marcera, we felt a lot of connection with the low pro guys. Low pro started there in that event, I think. Um, and it grows up into a friendship with Coral and Gil.
but Lopro isn't from
No, it's from
Porto, right?
Lisbon. It's from Lisbon.
Ah, okay.
This is pre Oak Wheels, pre Yellowwood. This is pre that thing. Then in
Oh,
2008, and there that it appears Yellowwood and Oak Wheels. I think Oak Wheels. I remember first time I met Ricardo. I came back from Erasmus in 2009, and he gave me some ultra grippy wheels. And yeah, this is the shit. It makes noise and blah blah blah. And I was like, what the fuck is this? This is so creepy. It's ridiculous. But the noise was so sick. We end up riding those wheels a lot. Um, so yeah, the Portuguese scene started growing up from a single event into multiplying to different kinds of events with Yellowwood and Low Pro always. I end up being on Yellowwood team, but I always connected with the Low Pro family. Um, but yeah, the scene grows up. Then I moved to Porto, and when I moved to Porto, I'm more connected with Ricardo. After Berlin, after lived in Berlin actually, I started meeting up more with Ricardo and Irish and Pedro and um, and Eduardo and all this the crew from Porto. Starts to be more of my family than the people from the south, like Lopro ended and I don't know, the big thing in start growing up in Porto instead of Lisbon, so it changed a bit. And Ricardo doing
mhm.
the patio and that crazy place that he has, I think motivates people in their imaginary to come to Portugal and
Yeah, it
to
does. It does.
experience that mini event, that mini thing.
Yeah, because
It's just a
it's
garage, but it doesn't matter.
yeah, and it's weird. Like a friend of mine who was with me last year, Pascal, the one with the long black hair.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like he said to me when he first stepped in, he was like, "Huh, that's it. I have more parks in my living room," and he does that. But that speaks more about his living room rather than
Exactly.
patio.
Random and patio.
And yeah, and we all like we were three people who stayed at one hostel,
Mhm.
and we all had such a blast, and it was such a perfect little event. And even though there's not like hundreds of parks as there would be at a Fast Fingers or something like that,
Yeah, no, no.
like you don't have to have those like well made Black River parks in like various versions, etc. You
It's everything handmade actually right there.
yeah
So it's
I
it's a do-it-yourself thing in but all made by Ricardo,
yeah
of course.
yeah
Um,
yeah. I think I spent pretty much the whole night at the stair set. Like that's
yeah, yeah,
that's sometimes all you need.
yeah. Yeah, you don't need that much actually.
Yeah
And sometimes if you have too much, you end up being lost. Like sometimes in Fast Fingers, I'm always lost there, and I don't even know where to go.
yeah. I just go where there's the least people at the park and
Exactly. Oh, that sounds empty.
yeah.
Yeah, but
Or just stay at the Steig for way too long.
exactly. Just chilling. Yeah, and that's part of the patio thing is to the communication that you have with the people all around, and if it's a small event, it's
Mm.
it's even easier. A bit like not Steig, yeah, a bit like
Steig, yeah.
Steig. That it's a tiny thing with people that breed fingerboarding. So
Yes.
um, it's more or less the same feeling, but in a tinier event than Steig.
Yeah. I think
But in the center of Porto, yeah, it's cool, huh?
yeah. Yeah. And I think Porto is one of the few, I think it's one of three, let's say, setups that you could have where it's all from one country or even from one city.
Hmm.
Because, I mean, there aren't that many truck companies, and Porto has pretty much a setup that you could provide
Exactly, exactly.
if you like the trucks.
Yes, yeah, of
But
course.
that's a
That,
different
oh,
story.
yeah, another topic.
Yeah. Um, I want to do a little thing with you that I do with all of my guests.
Mhm,
It's a rapid fire round.
mhm.
I will read you a question and you try to answer it in like just a few words or a, like a one sentence or something like that.
Okay, I'm so bad at
So,
this. Oh my god, I'm nervous.
so let's start. What's your favorite wheel?
Oak wheels, for sure. The M series.
I haven't tried those.
It's sick.
What's your favorite deck and shape other than yourselves?
Ah! Damn it! The favorite, one of the ones that I like aesthetically, but I cannot ride them that much. It's finger decks.
Ah, yeah.
They are really well made. Damn, they're really good.
What's your favorite trick on an obstacle?
Think Switch Hill Backside Tail. It's one of my favorites. Obstacle. It has to be the U ramp from Gripskin. That's the sickest ramp ever.
Oh, nice. Um, what's your favorite song right now?
Song.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Um, I don't know. Some there are some Portuguese trap that
Oh,
I
okay.
that I enjoy.
Okay.
It's just for the fun of it. But right now, what I listen, it's Hollywood. It's it's a
Then,
funny trap, Portuguese trap.
do you prefer outdoor or indoor fingerboarding?
Indoor, indoor,
Um, concrete or wood ramps?
concrete all the way.
Switch or regular?
Switch.
Do you have any hobbies outside of fingerboarding?
Oh my god, so much. That's one of my problems.
Yeah, I have the same problem.
Oh my god. What do I do? I like cars a lot. I love to work on my car. Um, I like to play airsoft. Um,
Oh,
I play every weekend with my girlfriend. I love coffee. Uh, I love specialty coffee. Uh, so much. Damn. Too much. Gaming gear, computers, too much stuff. Too
nice.
much.
Um, I think I, I think we answered the next question, but yeah, what's your favorite fingerboard video?
Yeah, that's totally answered. So the pissing
Um,
fingers too, without a doubt. The two one,
ah, you You like two more than one?
No, because the first one that I saw was the second, so that's why it
Ah,
changed me.
okay.
And because it was the only one available online, it
Ah,
was on
yeah.
Google Video. So for you, it was the
Yeah,
first one, right?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I bought the video. I think even before it was out. Like I was l- very active in the forum scene back then,
The
and
fingerboard E.
I think it was even something else. I I know I've been on Fingerboard DE, but I've also been on a Black River forum
Mhm.
that used to exist, and I think even a third one. But
Can you believe
yeah,
that we were in Portugal sometimes? Me and Marcelo, we were on Google Translate and shit like that to try to understand fingerboard E, searching for images of setups. Uh, to see what's going
crazy.
on and blah blah. Yeah, that's
Nice. Do you prefer to ride flat ground with an obstacle or a park?
what a great question. Uh, it depends of the situation, but I
Okay.
prefer the park. Uh, but sometimes it's just so good to be listening to some music or watching some video and just have a obstacle in front of your computer.
Mm,
Uh, it depends of the mood that you are.
yeah. A heel flip or kick flip?
Switch heel flip, 100%.
I'm not good at that trick.
Yeah, I
Uh,
love switch heel flip. I suck so much. I think it's a general suck move.
yeah,
No, nobody likes
unlearned.
this shit.
I unlearned heel flips. Like I was really good at them. Then I started learning switch and nollie heels, and never did regular heels anymore. And now I can't do them.
It's like my problem with I was always when I lived in Berlin. I was always doing this varial heel and frontside heel and big spin heel. Now
Mm.
I just do nollie heels and switch heels. Completely uh I completely forgot how to make varial heels and big spin heel. I forgot. Right now I suck so much.
Who's your favorite fingerboarder?
God damn it! um, besides Maserra, is one of my favorite fingerboarders from all time.
Mm.
Um, I think John Coward.
Hmm.
It's absolutely ridiculously style and
Yeah.
tricks. It's consistency. It's absurd. I think one of my favorites. Yeah.
Do you like self-made ramps or bought ramps?
Uh, I prefer self-made if they are well-made. I don't like
Mm.
trashy shit. I
Yeah.
I don't. I prefer to have a well-made but bought than a trashy one. But hey, whatever. You just need
Loose.
to have something to write.
Yeah, that's true. Loose or tight trucks?
Lose for the
What
sweet
was
shields.
your latest personal never been done trick that you landed?
Ah, good question. Ah,
Or the last trick that you landed that you were really proud of? Or
I think that the last trick that I learned was null in ordeal, and
Hmm?
then tricks after it. So null in ordeal back tail, or null in ordeal front nose. Um, and when you end up getting those tricks, you're so hyped.
Hmm.
I remember being so thrilled when I was like more a kid, of landing 360 flip, nose grind, nollie flip out like 3 times in a row. That I
Hmm.
was almost exploding mentally. And now I can do that, whatever. Oh my god.
Yeah, but some personal NBDs still get you that feeling.
Exactly.
Yeah, for me, the latest one was a tray flip frontside nose slide, which was disgusting to land. Yeah. Um.
Still,
Uh,
was a great trick. I still do it a lot.
yeah. Uh, do you have one setup or multiple setups?
I always had one setup. Always. But um, due to testing and constantly testing the last times,
Mhm.
I'm always having like three three setups. Like sometimes with an old school, usually it's an old school, a shorty, and a normal one.
Oh.
Usually it's like
Um,
that. I'm riding a
what
shorty right now.
what trick do you hate most to do in a game of Skate?
Oh, that's easy. Yeah, the one that I hate the most.
Yeah,
Exactly. 360 shove it.
I love it. It's my
I
absolute
I hate
favorite.
it so much. Oh
To
my god.
test the fury that I have, are you good at Nollie 360 shove-its?
Let me see. No.
Because I know quite a few people who are absolutely consistent at that trick and can't do a regular 360 shove-it for the
Really?
life of them. Yeah, and for me, I can't do a Nollie 360 shove-it, but I can do a regular one and pretty
It's the
much
opposite.
any grind.
God damn it! I cannot land it.
Um, Plastic or urethane wheels?
Sorry?
Plastic wheels or urethane wheels?
Urethane. That's
What's your
easy.
favorite beverage?
Um, Coffee.
Do you have any sponsors?
If I have any sponsors,
Yeah,
yeah, Oak Wheels, best
uh,
sponsor ever. Big up to Ricardo.
32 or 34 millimeter.
34. 34.
Uh, do you have a dream sponsor that you would like to have?
I have already my dream sponsor. I don't need it. I have Oak Wheels.
That's the best thing to have. Um, what Instagram account do you like following the most? Like, which one do you like to see new content of the most?
Great question. Mm, I like to see Julian Buono
Hmm?
content. It's always sick as hell, and I like the way
Mm.
he films. Um, Improviso from Francisco Martins and Pedro.
Yeah, he's one
It's
of my favorite accounts
that's
to follow.
yeah, that's when they get together and film both
Yeah,
of them. It's ridiculously
yeah.
good. And of course, John Coward. Sorry, Cowply. It's
Uh,
Cowply. It's a shit.
yeah.
Uh, he's a
And
really cool dude too.
what's your favorite overall company?
I used to I Oak Wheels, of course. I'm not, of course, not even a
Mm.
doubt. Um, but you're asking. I think you're asking boards, right? Or not? Yeah.
You know, like overall in fingerboarding.
Ah, yeah.
Like,
Oak Wheels. Then, if it's boards, I don't know. It's actually a pretty interesting question. Uh,
then let's try to answer that one.
uh, mm, mm, mm. Let me see. There are some brands that I'm enjoying to watch. There's the Cruiser Joy. You know Cruiser Joy?
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm enjoying a lot these decks. Really cool. Um, but I don't know. I don't know. I just like to see sometimes like setups all perfectly made. Like
Mm.
what is the name? The Swiss guy. What's the name of him?
This
Lionel.
is like,
Lionel Circuit.
yeah.
Yeah. That
Yeah,
sometimes he
I,
posts pornography in wheels. This is ridiculous.
yeah. Yeah, I try to color coordinate all my setups, but yeah, he's on a different
It's
level.
next level.
Okay, I think that's pretty much the end.
hmm
Um, Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, no
This
problem at
was
all. Thank you
this was
for having me.
yeah, absolutely. It was absolutely a blast. So yeah, thank you everyone for listening, and you'll catch me in the next episode. Bye.
Bye, guys.